Hey, my patriots. Eric here from American Defense. I wanted to talk to you a little bit about today's topic, which is going to be on senior citizens and home invasions and what you guys can do to better protect yourself, um, to keep yourself out of those types of scenarios, and what to do if you are in one of those scenarios. Today, I'm going to be talking about a story that comes out of Chicago. Um, it's amazing to me how these left wing news stations go ahead and just gloss over these stories really quick without getting any kind of in depth on what's happening or avoid the negatives that really are truly imposing themselves on us today. And that's not the gun or anything else. It is the criminal, the mentally ill criminal for most parts, that are doing this. This story comes out of Chicago. It's by Bernie Tafoya. It was posted on February 7th on MSN. It says senior citizen held against her will during Lincoln home invasion. Charges pending. Sure, I'm sure they are. I bet the guy got out immediately right after he was arrested. It says Lincoln Deputy Police Chief Travis Rapel said police responded to a well-being check for an 80-year-old woman in the 4600 block of Morris around 9 p.m. Saturday night. So here we got a situation where somebody called to do a welfare check on a senior, grandmother, mom, could be anybody. That's basically when somebody you care about is not responding, and you call the police and say, "Hey, can you go check on them, see what's going on?" Officers noticed a broken window and made contact with a resident who said she was being held against her will. She was quickly escorted safely out of the house by the police. So their whole premise here is that, they show up, knocked on the door, lady opened the door. Yeah, I'm being held hostage. Can you save me? And they take her out of the house and everything's great. Um, they said inside the home, Deputy Chief Rapold said officers encountered a locked door, which they broke through and found a 32-year-old man who was threatening them with knives. So the first question I have is, where was the man holding the woman hostage at in the house if he was locked in a bedroom? And second, why was the guy, if he was holding her hostage, allowing her to answer the door? Um, Kind of fishy, makes you kind of think, was it a family member or a mentally ill friend, neighbor, or somebody? I don't know how many 80-year-olds have 32-year-old male friends, but most likely it was a criminal or a mentally ill man. That's when officers backed out again and SWAT units called and were called. That's when the officers backed out and regional SWAT unit was called in. I'm trying to figure out why the police officers needed to contact SWAT, which, hey, I get it. Officer safety first. No, I have no issue with that. And we also want to make sure that whoever the person is in there, mentally ill or whatnot, we want to make sure that they're safe too. I'm not all about just killing anybody that you find in a house. We don't know what's wrong with this guy. And mental illness definitely is a problem in this country these days. Um, the deputy chief said just before 3 a.m., Monday police tasered the man and arrested him. I don't know why the standard deputy or sheriff couldn't have just tased him. They had to call SWAT in. But again, I have no problem with that. The suspect was taken to a hospital for observation and treatment for cuts received when he allegedly broke through the window. The woman was not injured. Charges are pending. Now, we already know how Lightfoot is in Chicago, and she ain't doing anything about any kind of holding people or waiting for them to be charged. That's a revolving door problem they have there in Chicago. But let's kind of go back on the story a little bit. You've got an 80-year-old woman. Sounds like it was a home invasion potentially or something of that matter. Somebody called, said, "Hey, aunt, grandma, mom, somebody is not responding. Can you guys please go check on her?" And so they go out there and they find this guy and they encounter this suspect who's 32-year-old male, has knives. Doesn't sound like a real stable person to me, and it doesn't sound like a typical home invasion, because typically if it's a home invasion, they're not going to let somebody just open the door and talk to the police and walk on out. There's going to be something else that's going to be in there. So, but that's typical for our today's media to go ahead and just gloss over something as significant as that. And it is significant. When we talk about senior safety or just anybody's safety in general, we need to really realize that home invasions are real. They're up and coming. It is politicized by the far left. You've got people in the government, Nancy Pelosi and Maxine Waters and stuff, saying take the fight to them. We've got Chuck Schumer threatening sitting judges, and it's just there's going to be a whirlwind coming for you, they said, and it's exactly what we're seeing today. So what do we do? You and I, not much we can do on a political level or anything. Even most of us can't do anything on a city level. I mean, you can go out and you can cry all you want to your local congressman and stuff, but that ain't going to do anything. They're not listening to you until it's time to vote. You can go to your city halls and you can cry and complain all you want that you don't feel safe. They're not going to hire more cops. We've got a system right now where they're wanting to defund cops. So what do we do? Everybody has their take on it. How to protect yourself. There's everybody has different means of income, and everybody has different ways of doing it. An 80-year-old woman obviously is not going to have the physical fortitude to be able to just take somebody on physically, nor would I expect them to. So what's the answer? Absolutely, you need to call 911, but you've got a guy standing at your door at this point. He's either kicking on a door, banging the door, or you've opened the door foolishly without asking who it is and saying, what do you want? Through the door. I would recommend that for most people. If you have a peephole or you have something that you can look through in order to identify who's at your door, especially if it's in the evening or late at night. And if it's late at night, or let's say it's a 3 o'clock in the morning thing, why are you opening your door at all? There's no reason to. It's either going to be the police, and then you need to make sure that it is the police and not somebody just pretending to be or impersonating a police officer. You need to make sure that you're dealing with somebody who is actually there. And there's very few reasons for people to be banging on your door at 3 a.m. Sometimes it will be the police maybe there's a suspect in the neighborhood who they're looking for, and they're checking to see if he's in people's homes. Sometimes it will be the police. Maybe there's a suspect that they're looking for. You don't know. There could be rampant in the neighborhood, and you're just trying to figure out who's banging on your door. So that's one of the reasons why police would be banging at your door. But there's really not any other reason, unless a neighbor says, hey, maybe you've left your garage door open. That's happened to me, which is an absolute foolish thing to do, because now you're just totally leaving your home open to burglary or home invasion. So what do we do for home invasion? I know that, like I said, there's a lot of people that say, I have a gun and I'm going to shoot whoever comes to my house. And hey, by all means, I don't have an issue with that. If you're defending yourself and you're in fear for your life, for all means, God, please take care of yourself and defend your family. We really have to be diligent in our own self-protection, because when seconds count and police are minutes away, 911 is not always your answer. You are your best first defense. And one of the things that I talk about on this channel is how do we protect ourselves and fortify our homes to give us the best advantage or the best edge we can. And I think a lot of that starts with lock and door protection and that type of stuff. Security systems are amazing. They'll call the police. They can notify everybody in the world, but when somebody's there immediately, it can take 10, 15, 20 minutes sometimes for officers to arrive to protect you. And this is something that's been talked about hundreds, if not thousands of times on YouTube and different channels. But I want to reiterate, my background is I am a general contractor and specializing in door and window installation. One of the things that I had found over the years of going to job sites to do repairs after break-ins, not necessarily home invasion, but a lot of break-ins. I would say that most break-ins happen through a back door or back window. That's statistically, the police say that. Um, but one of the things I wanted to mention is if somebody wants to come into your house, somebody wants to come into your house, they're coming into your house. Not much is going to stop that. I'm 245 pounds, and unless you've got a fortified front door, I don't care what kind of lock it is. Most big people, and not just saying men, women too, a big woman or a big man can absolutely open that door. And I would just body check that door. And I don't care if you have a $10 lock on there or if you have a $500 lock on there. If they want to come into your home, they're coming into your home, because it's not the lock. It is the door and the door jamb. You can have the best door defense that you think is on there, and I can open it. I'll kick that door right in if I want it bad enough. And a lot of the times we're dealing with people who are absolutely high, mentally ill, or just damn determined to get into your home to get you or whatever they want in that house. And it's scary. So what do? I personally think that there are some things that you can do to fortify your doors and windows and entry points, to be able to save yourself and at least some time to get to a room or something like that where you can reach a firearm or some type of a defensive weapon to be able to take care of yourself. And we don't talk about that too much because it's always the cops that are going to save you. And I'm sorry, but that's not the truth. Cops are not there for you. Cops are there to get there. They will walk up to your house. They're not going to run, kick in, and put themselves in danger. Even if you were screaming, I doubt that they would come right into the house. They're going to try to call you. They're going to try to get in. They may come in slowly, but by that time you could be dead, or your family members could be dead. So what do? I would say hire a licensed contractor who can come in and fortify your door jambs and your windows with some type of an aftermarket deadbolt bracing, metal plates and stuff with long 2.5 to 3 inch screws into your deadbolts. Fortify your hinges, fortify your door jambs by putting longer screws through the jamb and into the studs. Try to slow them down. And even that, I'm sorry to say, it's not going to stop a man or a woman who wants to get into your house. That's just something that is going to happen. I still think that the best defense that you can have is being situationally aware of your surroundings, where you live, what's going on. Lighting outside is paramount. Cut back the bushes, cut back the shrubs and trees that are blocking your windows. Make sure you have adequate security lighting around your house, not just some little porch light with a 60-watt bulb in it that you can't tell. Use the Ring home doorbells. Get some security cameras up there. Those are things that you could potentially have to help you with it. But there's no guarantee that you're going to stop somebody from coming in. So the person comes, door wants in your house, they kick the door, you fortified it, and they still get in. They smash a window, they pick up a chair and go through the window and crawl through. They're going to get you. They want to come in. They're determined. What do? My best advice is, obviously, get to a place where you can barricade yourself, a bedroom, somewhere where you can barricade yourself in and have yourself a weapon, preferably a gun. And be qualified with that gun. Be qualified with something that you're using to defend yourself. The Supreme Court just gave us some great news that they're going to go ahead and they passed some stuff that's really going to help us out with individuals carrying concealed weapons and make it a little easier for us. I know that there's going to be some resistance on that with the far left, and we're already seeing that now. But if you get yourself a handgun, get yourself a shotgun, whatever you're comfortable with, practice, because that's what it's going to take for you to, without thinking, be able to handle, manipulate, and use that tool to defend yourself. And it is a tool. It's not a killing machine. It's not anything bad. I hear that all the time. Oh, guns are bad. I've never once ever heard of a gun by itself killing anybody, and that's an old joke. I've sat my gun on a table, left it there all day, and came home, and it never once killed anybody. It's the truth. It's a tool. I'm going to share a little bit about myself. My father committed suicide when I was 18 years old, and he shot himself. And for a long time, it really battled with me with guns. I thought, oh my God, I would never want to have a gun in my house. And after a lot of prayer and a lot of understanding, I really thought, I came to the conclusion it wasn't the gun. It wasn't the shotgun that he shot himself with. It was him. He was determined to take himself out, and he was going to do it. So it could have been that. It could have been a car. He could have drank himself to death. He could have done drugs. That was just the method that he chose. We don't put enough emphasis on the fact that a gun is a tool. And like any tool, you need to be proficient in how you use that tool. So my suggestion to you is protect yourself at all times. Learn how to protect yourself at all times. Take personal self-defense serious. Get some classes. Talk to people. Don't listen to the far left media that's telling you that guns are bad and the police are going to somehow save you. I don't know how the police are going to save you if they're trying to defund them and get them out of the picture. They're letting criminals across the border. They're letting people who commit crimes in this rotating door society we have of the jails where you can commit a crime, be booked, and released the same day. And they do not care. They want you to live in fear. The left wants you to live that the whole world's burning down around you. And in this society, I'm going to believe that because it is. So it's your responsibility to do your due diligence in protecting yourself and the ones you love. We'll talk more about this on the subject. I'm Eric. This is Personal Defense. Take care.